Number 3, I believe that most people don't have a good commission plan in place. What don't I like about the commission plans? The first thing I don't like is that most commission plans pay commission on the first dollar. The reason I don't like that is that it becomes entitlement. Okay? If I get a 2% commission on every single sale, I get it from the first sale that it happens, and now it's just sort of part of my salary. It's not really anything that's phenomenal. And if I get a big increase, or if I hit my goal or don't hit my goal, it doesn't so much matter to me. So this plan is called a 9% commission plan. 9% is higher than what most people hear about in terms of commissions, but we make them achieve a goal before they get there. So watch how this goes. Assume you pay someone $10 an hour, okay? If I want a 9% commission plan or a 9% selling cost, I take their hourly rate, the $10, and I divide it by 0.09. So $10 divided by 0.09 is $111. That's how much they have to sell every hour that they work, okay? Now let's assume this person works 30 hours. That means in a week they've got to sell $3,330, okay? I will pay them 9% commission on everything above $3,330, okay? So they get a greater commission on what they sell after they've achieved the goal. Okay. Now, why do we divide it by 9%? Because we're trying to get to a 9% selling cost, is what we're trying to get to, if you remember the earlier slide. Okay. If this is working the way it's supposed to, and an employee works 5 days a week, okay, they should achieve their goal by the end of the 4th day, which means everything they sell on the 5th day, they get 9% of it. On that day, they're going to become selling crazy people, right? They're going to sell tons and tons and tons and tons, and it doesn't matter, because even if they sell all of that stuff at that rate, you're still only ending up with a 9% overall selling cost. So it works for them and it works for you. Okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to try the math on this one, okay? And you want to try it with your own employees to make sure it's going to work, okay? So, but the benefits of it are listed all on this screen, okay? You pay a high rate of commission, but only after they've achieved their goal, okay? It keeps their selling cost at 9% no matter how much they sell, okay? Now, when you introduce this, you want to introduce it as a 90-day pilot, okay? You never want to introduce it as the final pay plan until you know it's going to work, okay? That gets everybody to relax a little bit, you know? There's often a really great concern amongst employees when you start changing their pay plans. It freaks them out, makes them crazy, that kind of stuff. So introduce it as a pilot program, okay? And point number 4 is really kind of important in this regard, and it's just simply this. Typically, when we've done this in stores, there's usually one person or maybe 2 people that will come to you and tell you that this is the worst move you could possibly make. It's a disaster, it's bad, it's never going to work, and everybody's unhappy, right? That's the person who doesn't want you to know that they can't sell. So don't let that bother you, okay? Try it as a pilot and see how it works, okay? You don't have to do it at 9%, by the way. You can pick your own percentage. You could do it at 10. You could do it at 11. You know, you might look at where you're at right now. If your selling cost is 15%, maybe you want to get down to 12, okay? But do the math first. And certainly, if you're struggling with that, reach out to me. My contact information is at the very end of this presentation, so I'm happy to help you with any of the math on that, okay? Number 4, I like to call serious email marketing, okay? Now, most stores tell me when we start talking about email marketing that they worry that they're going to annoy their customers if they email them too much, right? Because nobody tells you they want more email. Nobody says, gee, I wish I got more email in my inbox. That said, there's so much email happening now that you have to make sure you've made an impact on these guys, that they can actually recognize your name. And today, with everything that hits everybody between email and Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and Snapchat, before I even get into television, before I even get into radio, because there are still people doing radio, believe it or not, okay? With all of these things that are hitting people, okay, what you're really looking for is mind share. You're trying to get to the point where they recognize your name and they're thinking about you. That's the important part there, okay? There's just so much stuff and so many different methodologies by which people are contacting customers nowadays that it's very noisy. But email marketing is one of the places where I can tell you from a just purely retail store perspective, it's one of the places that has the greatest impact and is the greatest driver of sales these days, okay? Now, the Direct Marketing Association of America did a study, and that study found that for every dollar you invest in email, you get $4 back, okay? That's from the Direct Marketing Association, not from me, by the way, okay? I believe you've got to do it at least twice a week. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes that makes people go crazy, but listen to me carefully about this, okay? Most people, when I do these presentations live, I pick someone in the audience and I say, how many emails do you get a day? Okay, the average answer I get is 50 emails a day. Then you can check your own and see how many you get. But if someone gets 50 emails a day, and I'm not just talking about like legitimate emails from friends or that kind of stuff, I'm just saying pure email traffic, what comes in the inbox. If you get 50 a day, you get 350 a week, you get 1,400 a month. If I email you only once a week, okay, I have 4 divided by 1,400, okay, or a 0.2% chance of getting your attention. Frankly, in the time that you've been listening to this presentation, there are department stores that have probably emailed you 2 or 3 times. Okay? Why? Because they know that it's not about the message as much as it's about you recognizing their name out there. Okay? And as long as, when you look at your email stats, as long as your email unsubscribe rate doesn't get above 2%, it's not a problem. Okay, so I recommend twice a week in normal days. When you get into the holidays, you almost have to do it every single day. Okay? The next thing that's important about email marketing is what's the message. It shouldn't always be about sale. I find too many places where retailers are only emailing when they're on sale. Talk about the new product you just got in. Talk about what's happening at the store, in-store events, great new stuff that just arrived, fun things that are happening. And every once in a while, salt in something that's fun and silly and makes people laugh, okay? But, you know, the message should not always be about sale, okay? I suggest that as you look at your emails that you get, look at them differently. If you get an email that you really, was interesting to you or you thought was cool looking, you know, save those and use those as you start to design your emails and your email campaigns, okay? The stats you want to look at are the open rate, right? What percentage of the people open the emails and click through? How many of them, if you have got an e-commerce site, how many of them actually clicked on a link in there and went to the site, okay? The open rate, you want to be in the low to mid-20s at least, okay? If you're not there, you need to improve your subject line, okay? Okay, now, the next thing about it, okay, is this. I believe that you should no longer call it an email list because no one wants to be on an email list, but everybody wants to be on a VIP list. So when you're adding people, say, would you like to be on our VIP list? And make that your email list, okay? You have to ask for it in a variety of ways. If you just say, hey, listen, I'd like to put you on my email list, the answer is going to be no, okay? But if you say, I want to put you on my VIP list, or I want to put you on a special list where you hear about discounts other people don't hear about, or promotions other people don't hear about, you're going to hear about new merchandise before it arrives, that sort of thing, that's something people want to do, okay? It needs to be part of the sale. It needs to be part of your clienteling strategy to make sure that you've established really good relationships and you can reach out to customers after the sale is over, okay? Make some contests amongst your staff who can get the most email addresses. That's a very effective strategy, okay? And nowadays, most point-of-sale systems have an ability to make the receipt email to the customer instead of just print it out and give it to them. That is a huge way to get email addresses. Customers like it. It saves paper. It works for everybody, okay? So you can, and typically with those email receipts, you can also include a marketing message there to get them to bounce back to the store again, okay? Here's a real case study. I have a store. They have a little over 8,000 names. Average open rate is 23%, and their average unsubscribe was 1.9%. Okay? This means that when you email those 8,000 people, if 23% open it, about 1,800 people see it. Okay? It also means that when they email, they lose 153 people. Okay? But if they convert 3% of those to sales, okay, with an average sale of about $36, it produces $2,000 worth of sales. Okay? Now, I'm willing to get $2,000 worth of sales and lose 153 people that probably weren't my customer anyway, okay? So you want to measure those things and see how it's working for you. But I don't want to avoid sending my message out to 1,800 people because less than 200 of people will not stick around, Okay? That's the case study here, and I want you to keep that in mind when you think about email marketing. You're not annoying them as long as your unsubscribe rate stays below 2%. Okay? Once it gets above 2%, yeah, then you got to back it down a little bit. But if it's below 2% and you're getting open rates in the mid-20s, you're getting your message out to people, and that's the most important thing.